rainbow. The person have to accept Tom, red and orange and yellow and green and blue and violet. And after that, when he can summarize it, it means the door opens and he can pass the exam for source of love. And this is the test when humans realizes that God is everywhere. It can be that this is divine and this is not divine. Everything is divine. And the biggest illusion in life is illusion of separation. I'm here, you're there. This is divine, this is not divine. This is good, this is bad. This is God, this is demon. This gives stress and tension. And until people are separated, they fight. And when people fight, they never can transcend, because it means they don't accept the rainbow. There is some little part of rainbow which they don't accept. I don't accept sexuality, for example, or I don't accept money. It's not divine. Okay, this is your choice. But if this in real life, it means God allowed it to happen. It's already here. God is everywhere. It's also wave. So that was wisdom of my masters. I learned how to love, how to transform, how to evolve from them. There is so much I would like to tell you, but I feel like it's time to summarize the presentation and give space to other great speakers. What would I like to tell you? So, in my opinion, how to practice immortality in daily life? There are two ways, which is spiritual wave, Atma Vichara, meditation, Sahajit Samadhi. There is material way. You can treat about your body. But in the most natural way you can do. What does mean spiritual way? This is to get in touch with your soul, not with your thoughts, but with your feelings, and to be in harmony with it. And also to balance soul, personality, and body. For me, spiritual, it means to be able to answer the question, who am I now? What is my dharma? What should I do? And for me, this means divine leadership, when I identify myself as a soul, as a divine, but I realize that my personality and body, they are partners and they work all together. But who is the leader? The soul is the leader. White light is leader, and rainbow is my partner. And you know, one thing also, what I realized, that actually there is white light in every color. As soon as you transcend, as soon as you accept all the variety of colors, mortality, immortality, death, life, you can see that white color is everywhere. It means you can see this is God, and this is God, and this is God. and this gives you peace. And this can help be in Sahajit Samadhi, seeing variety of colors, but to feel the base wave, the source of it, white. So, as a conclusion, my main message, Sahaja Samadhi, natural way. Samadhi with the body. To become divine, explore your human. I'm teaching for 15 years, and what I see, I think a mistake among yogis and practitioners. They don't like physical. They don't like Maya. They don't like illusion. But life is illusion itself. Life is Shakti. It changes all the time. They think that divine is here and body is here. And I think body is God. This is the God in form of body. It is more mortal. It has less age. But if we have body and it has less time than, for example, Jiva Atma, it means body is even more precious. We have to care about it because we have it just for this period of time. And God itself, Avataram, Karpura Gauram Karunavataram, it just came into this body to get this experience of life. So in this wonderful human body, because he wants that experience. So my message is to realize divine, love your physical body. Pay attention to this. It will open you resources because human physical body, it's like a conductor. It's like an antenna. The more we care about body, we can conduct more energy. Our brain work, our chakra system work, our thinner body, they work better. Live your inspiring life. And stay friends with death. If you have to be sponsored by life, know your dharma. Ask yourself, how should I act so life supports me for 100 years, 200 years? What should I do? Meditate about that. Which my action, thoughts, deeds would life support so I can live for 100 years, 200 years, maybe more? Trust your heart and let it flow. Live in connection with the body. One last little example I want to tell you, and I will finish. Actually, we all know what is immortality is. We all live our micro life in one day. We are born, then we live, and then we die when we go to sleep. So please remember, when you wake up early and you meditate and you feel the wave of life, and then you live such an interesting, exciting, inspiring day, and in the end of the day, you look back and you feel, what a wonderful day I had. And in this moment, how do you know it? You have santosh and you have shant inside. And if somebody tells you you can live for longer, you can make this day for not 24, 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, you cannot go to sleep. And after that, you say, I don't care. I can sleep. I'm happy with this day. I'm ready to transform into something else. You all know such state when you're so inspired, you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, you don't need communication, you can work, create. You can do that for hours and hours, and this happens naturally. It means every one of us has that experience of immortality inside one micro life in terms of our day. You all know this. So just ask yourself, how can I translate that into micro scale, into my life? How to be so inspired to live long life. To be inspired, what does it mean? Inspiration means inhale. It means at this moment in my body, there is a lot of energy, of high quality prana. It means at this moment, life supports me, it invests in me. And why does it happen? Because I live my dharma. I go my path. So this is the formula. There is so much I can tell you about transmutation and genes, but I think this psychological and this is more for your mind and for your soul. I think this is the most important message I can give you. Thank you very much for your attention and for this opportunity, for this possibility. Arut Perum Jyoti.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maxim. It was really a very deep insight, to be honest. And it was so divine in listening to your words and the way you, presented yourself with so strong and thought-provoking concepts. We really enjoyed your presentation. It's been, we didn't know that how long it went. It looks like we can be going along, but at the interest of time, we'll be moving on with next speakers. We have a separate group discussion forum where we can discuss more on the perception, the question and answer. Definitely we'll have a lot to ask you in that session for sure. So for now, we'll move on to our next speaker. Over to the MCs now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Maxime, for that inspiring presentation. The notion that life supports life is a magical one, especially when you portrayed it so beautifully through the number of stories and experiences that you shared. It was also interesting to see your idea of love and how acceptance being the main idea of love, accepting and honoring any form of life and being compassionate and accepting to all living beings. And that's the most natural way of practicing immortality in today's day-to-day life. So thank you so much for that. It was very inspiring. I'll be passing it on now to Samatha to introduce our next speaker for the day.
Samatha, go ahead.
It's a great pleasure for me to extend a cheerful welcome to you all. I'm Sarmada Tamilmaran from Malaysia. I'm pleased to welcome our next speaker, Mr. Muthujothi Ayya. who is the recipient of Lifetime Achievement Award for Innovations. From the hands of the former President of India, he is also the founder president of Valalar Arandalayam, who has been providing various services for the past 32 years. He has published the book of Valalar Jiva Karunya Volukam with Tamil to Tamil translation in today's Tamil language. He is investing arduous interest and effort in Valalar's path of Sanmarkam for the past 60 years. Dear viewers, I would like to convivially welcome Mr. Muthujodi Ayya to discuss on the topic Long Live Human Body. Mr. Muthujodi Ayya, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Arutperum Jodi, Arutperum Jodi, Taniperum Karunai, Arutperum Jodi. Vast grace light, unique supreme compassion, vast grace light. Pleasure and peace be to all living beings. Dear brothers and sisters, today is a wonderful day, commemoration with the birth event of Swami Ravalinga Valalar on 5th of October. It is not just a birth of a human, it is a blossoming of the universal compassion. His vision and mission are to embrace all living beings on earth with universal brotherhood without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color. I profoundly congratulate the Society for Immortality Research for organizing this celebration in a fitting way by connecting the august minds of the world through sincere and on a single point agenda, the infinite compassion with unconditional love, fruiting to longevity and immortality. Today, the scientific fraternity, particularly the eminent scientists of the day, Dr. Michikaku, has started deliberating, theoretically at least, that biological immortality is a possible course for human body. Days are not far to establish scientifically that immortality is physically possible and no more a philosophy for debate. In the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for having included me in this knowledge sharing series to share a few of my thoughts on human body, which Almighty has designed for longevity and immortality. Human body is a gift to mankind by graceful Almighty. Everybody would like to live a long life in this human body without any ailment, if possible with youth and energy. Aging is not a thing of preference for anyone. It comes as an inevitable package in our present life. It is worthwhile to note that when one struggles to live a lifespan of 50 or 60 years, with all possible complications, few people happily live without any ailment for a century or more. How it is possible? Undisputedly, the body given by God is the same for all human beings. But the fact is, only a few people realize the importance and the wonder of the God-designed body and accomplish it properly in tune with nature to live a life and not mere being alive. Therefore, longevity is not a chance. It is an option of rarity before us, which one has to choose and live long. A set of renowned souls, commonly known as 18 Siddhas in Tamil lore, and 84 Tibetan, have compiled popular verses dealing with long life or Kalpadeha. But most of these verses are obtuse and highly esoteric and have not been deciphered intelligibly. In addition to Kundali Yoga, these works include preparation of elixir using herbs, metallic oxides, sulfur, mercury, and few other chemicals on the alchemic side. There came a unique Siddha to extol and elevate this theory of longevity to a higher degree of body of immortality And he is a Saint Ramalinga Swamigal, popularly known as Vallalar, who lived in Tamil Nadu in his visible physical body till he disappeared from human vision in the year 1874. It is a state of being in oneness with transcendental nature of the effulgence. He professed that the impure body, what we have today, can be biochemically transformed and transmuted to a pure body of light, secondly into a body of sound, and finally into a body of gnosis, the body of God himself. This is a complete form of immortality, which the human body could reap ultimately. The compassionate radiance itself, through Saint Vallalar, has condensed and come out as Thiruvarutpa, with Agaval as its essence. In all 6,000 long poems and verses in Thiruvarutpa, he consistently proclaims that the transmutation of bodies is possible to all human beings by following the modus operandi devised by him. What is required primarily is a universal compassion to all living beings, not confining to human alone, without distinguishing race, creed, sex, caste, or color. The essence of this process is overwhelmingly to embrace the compassion in heart towards all beings, adhering to traits and discipline in mind and body, and seeking the supreme light and soul, which is a universal God of omnipresence and omnipotent. He termed this discipline as Suddha Sanmarkam, meaning pure path of truth. It is neither a religion nor a belief. It is embodiment of universal compassion and wisdom, beyond the ken of perception of old traditions and believers of the world. Vallalar is a scientist of all times. He talks about alchemy, astronomy, cosmogony, human anatomy and physiology, nuclear physics, chemistry of soil, water, fire, air, and ethereal space, and also ever-expanding universe. He excels in the state of ecstasy, while exclaiming his occult experiences in his divine songs to instill interest and confidence in us to advance in his path of higher spirituality imbibed with science. Science of Vallalar says that aging is a reversible phenomenon. Seekers progressing in the pure path of Sanmarkam, which is Suddha Sanmarkam, the lower hanging fruit is the longevity of life as a prelude to immortality. Human body and universe are mainly the instinct blend of chemistry and physics. In chemistry, many chemical reactions are reversible. In the same analogy, Vallalar claims that aging of this body is also reversible. The graph of a man's aging, after adhering to disciplines as postulated by Vallalar, should follow a typical bell curve pattern. That is, after reaching certain age, one's bodily experience should reverse back to the body and experience of a youth and to that of a child as well. The shrinking of skin, the graying of hair, and so on, should return to their early stages of growth cycle, step by step. With the enriched wisdom in mind, body system will return back to that of a youth, a step preset to Jnana Deha. Vallalar walked the talk as a testimony to this fact and demonstrated his science, taking his own body as a test piece. One of his songs, he narrates this process of reversal of aging. The content of the song is, "O man of the earth, I am uttering you a word of truth. Do not think otherwise. Come fast and fast to reach here. It is a time that omnipotent Almighty, with his mystic transcendence, is to manifest here to bestow the aged man whose skin has withered and shrunk, to attain a body of youthfulness and reinstall the dead from the grave. You all rejoice, his boon. All you ought to do is to melt in your heart and get immersed and coagulated with the tearing eyes in the bliss of merciful effulgence." Vallalar clearly confirms here that the process of aging is a reversible phenomenon. Vallalar talks extensively in longevity and immortality in Tiruruppa. In Agola 1596 lines, which is said to be written in one single night, in one of the couplets, he adorns the boundless benevolent light as divine medicine, which eradicates physical as well as spiritual diseases, wards of death, banishes the old age, and confers perpetual youth. In couplet number 1321, he says, O benevolent effulgence medication, thou hast entirely warded off the ailments pertaining to body and soul. In canto number 1327, he calls a death as a terminal disease. In couplet number 1329, in Agaval, he says, aphoristically, that the great medicine of Janasis has driven away the process of graying of hair, wrinkling of skin, and aging of the frame. In the canto number 1331, Valala rejoices that the great medicine of Nasis has conferred on him the boon of remaining perpetual young. Valala in most of the songs in 6th book affirms that his body with shrunken skin has become ever youthful. It has shaken off sleep, hunger, thirst, diseases, etc. from the system. Mr. Jagannathan, a renowned researcher on Vallalar, writes that at whatever the age the aspirant gains illumination, or the effulgence enters in him, or emanates from him within, some remarkable changes take place in the body of frame. The divine light seems to change the very structure of the DNAs or RNAs in each and every cell of the body, with the result that they seem to function in the opposite direction. Consequently, the old body becomes middle-aged, then to youth of 18, to 12 years, to 8 years, and finally to 5 years. After 5 years, the body grows to the size of the universe to become Jnanadeha. Now let us understand what are all the echoes of the human body. Vallalar summarizes the following attributes which cause loss or damage to the human body in the form of aging, disease, and finally the death. Number 1 is the food, number 2 is the sleep, third is the sex, and fourth is the fear. Let us now discuss how fear affects our body. Vallalar reiterates that fear should be zero in our mind, which is the root cause of sorrow in the world. In life, past is history, future is mystery, and the present is the present. And hence, should not have fear either on past or future, and live a happy present life. Vallalar advises in prose section that our mind should always remain cheerful. In couplet number 288 in Agaval, Vallalar confers purity and fearlessness. He narrates that how the benevolent light has bestowed on him. The boundless benevolent Jyoti has heartened. Be blemishless. Be not afraid of anything in this world. We will now see what science says about fear. Fear response starts in a region of brain called amygdala, which then triggers the area involved fight or flight reaction. Fear hormones are secreted by the adrenal gland, an endocrine gland located on the top of our kidneys. The fear hormones circulate through bloodstream to all cells of our body. Science explains that the impact of the fear in our body is many, and primarily it affects the physical health. The prolonged fear weakens our immune system and can cause cardiovascular damage, gastrointestinal problems such as ulcers, and irritable bowel syndrome, and decreased fertility. Fear can lead to accelerated aging and even premature death. Medical science confirms this fact. Fear also affects memory and interrupts brain processing activity, and finally affects the mental health too. According to Vadalar, sleep has to be as minimum as 3 to 4 hours a day if one wishes to progress in Nasi's path. Vadalar expresses his mental agony and sleep, which embraces us day and night. In a song number 4357, he pities our saddened life with sleep. O benevolent, boundless effulgence light, what I do is nothing but sleeping, be it be day or night. Whenever I get to sleep, I slept with fear. And whenever I got up next day, I did with a fear-stricken mind, longing for dawn of a day whence I would eliminate the sleep totally. In Tiruvallur, in many places, Valalar lays emphasis to come out of the clutches of the sleep, not by compulsion, but by connecting to Godhead and generating psychic heat. We convince ourselves in the worldly life to have a full long sleep for maintaining a sound body. But science, which emphasizing sleep for certain hours for sound health, it also pinpoints that long sleep does more damage than good. We understand that some people have lost the ability to sleep, and yet they are healthy and lead moral lives. Not only that, they are able to perform twice or thrice the amount of work of average people who undergo the process of sleep regularly. Modern science confirms that oversleeping on a regular basis can increase the risk of diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and health and death according to several studies done over the years. Let us now discuss about the sex, that is mating. Out of these four facets which cause loss to human body, Vadalar claims that sex and food are the major reasons for the body to fall prematurely through disease and aging. Vadalar talks about perpetual threshold on sex between husband and wife depending on their age. Besides the ill effects of frequent sex and health, Vadalar is worried on the derailing of mind from the sagacious thoughts and deeds. It has the potential of diverting the aspirant's focus physiologically and psychologically much more than any other forces in the world. The great dynasties of the world, irrespective of continents or culture, have fallen prey to the lust of their great emperors, which history has depicted. Vadalar suggests for the family people to restrict sex once in a fortnight, with a caution that frequent sex will lead to lessening of sperm count, with the consequence of fertility issues, besides aging and disease. Moreover, bodily fluids can knock vagina's natural pH levels out of whack, making the female more susceptible to infection, particularly urinary infection. During sexual act, body releases few hormones like cortisol, which increase the heart rate and trigger the release of glucose in the blood. Medical science confirms, on the basis of the research, that excessive sex can lead to a lot of side effects, including dehydration, lower back pain, bruises and soreness, injured nerves, strained muscles, increased body exhaustion, fracture and heart attack for those who have heart problems. Let us now discuss an important aspect, food. Sex and food are the primary factors in doing the damage. Even out of these two, Vadalar lays more emphasis on food for the following reasoning. Number one, there is no sex activity from childhood to marriage and also in old ages. But food continues in these periods too. Even in ages of sex activity, there will be no sex due to ailment, fear, anxiety, travel, dispute, and so on. But food is there in all these periods. Whereas food starts as early as from mother's womb and continues till grave. Among all the four factors, Vallalar pinpoints food as a 90% cause of the total damage to the human body. Hence, it becomes very imperative for an avid seeker to focus more on food systems to advance towards longevity or anti-aging and ultimately pursuing immortality. In the sensational book's titled Psychic Discoveries Behind Iron Curtain and Psychic Discoveries, by placing a person under hypnotism for a week, authors prove that hunger and thirst are illusions created by mind. During the experiment, they kept on telling into the ears of the subject that he was taking his regular healthy food as usual. To the surprise, after a week, they found that he was not only healthy, he had gained 2 kilograms of weight. Now we'll discuss on quality of food. Undoubtedly, it is more the vegetarian food and only the vegetarian food, which is a basic requirement for anyone to enter into the path of Sanmargam, since compassion and empathy towards all living beings are the lifeline of Sanmargam. Vallalar and compassion in himself are not two identities, and they are the one and the same. Both are inseparable. Vallalar enunciates in his verses. Even among the vegetarian food, Vallalar gives a list of permissible and non-permissible greens, vegetables, and other eatables. He enumerates very elaborately on method of cooking and time of eating. Now we'll focus on quantity of food. Solid food is advocated for only lunch and supper. For breakfast, it is a special herbal drink. Vallalar recommends keeping always off his stomach empty while eating, and particularly in night he should be even lesser than the quantity of the day meal. A note of caution here is that the food quantity should never come down, not by compulsion, but as a consequence of our focus on and connect with the Godhead matters. At the same time, he insists not to remain hungry due to any wrong practice. One needs to strike a balance between the two till he set up to a higher level in Vallalar's path. A famous reporter, Michael Mosley, has undertaken an extensive study on reduced food intake and its positive impact on health. He discovers that reduced food intake increases the lifespan. Calorie restriction, eating well but not much, is one of the few things that have been shown to extend the life expectancy as per his research reports. With the experiments conducted with mouse and extrapolating the findings to human, he confirms that the restricted food intake, human life can be extended to 120 years or even more. The growth hormone, IGF-1, that is insulin-like growth factor, which keeps our body in go-go mode, when in high level, accelerates aging and age-related diseases. This has been confirmed by Professor Walter Longo of the University of Southern California. Michael's basic concept is that when our bodies no longer have access to food, they switch from growth mode to repair mode. Hence, he suggests many types of intermittent fasting methods, and one among them is 16-hour fasting a day. He states that it will greatly reduce the risk of contracting age-related diseases like cancer and diabetes. Dr. Fang too deliberates that restricted food intake through intermittent fasting goes a long way in health improvement, particularly controlling even type 1 diabetes. Now let us recall Vallalar's food system with the background of ongoing research reported by Michael Mansley. If we finish our food in the night by say 8 p.m. and take next day lunch at 12 noon, after skipping breakfast with an herbal drink as per Vallalar's advice, then it equals to 16:8 fasting pattern of Michael Monsley. This is proved to increase lifespan as well as reducing the risk of age-related diseases, even like cancer. This has been confirmed with positivity with 2,400 American women with breast cancer. Contrary to the general notion that full meal system only will promote health, recent researchers have proved that restricted and reduced food system alone will extend the lifespan and alleviate the diseases which have been foretold by Saint Vallelaar 180 years ago. World researchers put forth a fact that the number of people who died due to overeating are much more than the people who die for want of food. Now we'll discuss about hot water intake. Vallelaar's concept of attaining the biological immortality is by generating psychic heat, that is pure heat, in our body by way of consuming heat-producing food materials, drinking hot water, doing meditation, or a search for truth in mind, and above, infinite compassion towards all beings. Vallelaar therefore cautions us to avoid anything which could bring coldness to body, like drinking of cold water and bathing in cold water, keeping bare body open in air, eating chilled food of previous session, particularly from fridge, taking curd or greens at night, and so on. Portraits of Vallelaar available today confirms this fact that he was covering his whole body, toe to head, with pure white cloth to avoid exposure of body to open air. Vallelaar details the procedure to prepare hot water for drinking by boiling the raw water along with powder of a specially processed dried ginger. It not only keeps our body hot, also it acts an effective germicide, keeping away all waterborne diseases. Medical science reiterates that water pollution is one of the main causes of diseases today. The magazine Medical News Today narrates the following advantages of taking hot water. Number one, drinking hot water helps us to break down food faster than drinking cold water. It reduces the risk of constipation by supporting regular bowel movement. It advocates that water might help the body to detoxify. When water is hot enough to raise a person's body temperature, it can cause sweating, which expels toxins and clean the pores. Hot water is a vasodilator, meaning it expands blood vessels, improving circulation of blood to muscles and organs. Hot water also helps to absorb more nutrition and flushes of the waste. Researchers found that drinking of 500 ml of hot water before meal increased metabolism by 40% compared to that of cold water by 30%. Number 5, hot water is believed to be a pain reliever when used either internally or water packs externally. Number 6, hot water can alleviate pressure caused by colds and nasal allergies. Steam also helps unclog the sinuses. Drinking hot water can help movement of mucus more quickly. Number 7, soothing cup of hot water can help people manage stress and anxiety. Now we are going to focus on the important point, meditation. When Vallelaar talks about the total universe, he correlates the universe with our human body and states that whatever is there in the macrocosm, that is the universe, it is all there in the microcosm, that is human body. He goes further to establish that experience of the universe in human body is more extensive than the universe outside, notwithstanding the statement that human body is a miniature universe. He articulates clearly that he could traverse all these universes in a fraction of a second by grace of effulgent Supreme God. In his masterpiece Agaval, he narrates on his occult experiences in Canto number 1302. O radiant, resplendent gem, thou hast enabled me to visit and oversee the millions of worlds in half a second. Also, a hand, his body could cognize the sense of touch for many parts of the universe. How he has attained this all-pervading vision and control. This is by experiencing the God in forehead, which he calls as a wisdom center, that is Sirchabai, or temple of knowledge. The pivotal point is referred by our saints by various names like Bindustan, that is a point of benevolent light, Agya Chakra, Lalada, and so on. A true aspirant has to initiate this process by practicing meditation in this center, as guided by Valala in his verses. He specifies the methodology and the time of meditation as well. Early morning at around 4 o'clock is the perfect time for meditation, when air is with full of ambrosial part with a lesser poisonous part. Let us see now what science says about meditation. The benefit of meditation is now confirmed by modern science with MRI and EEG. The practice of meditation appears to have amazing varieties of neurological benefits, changes in gray matter volume, to reduce activity in me centers of the brain, to enhance the connectivity between the brain regions. Meditation, as per vast researches done world over, and particularly a study from the University of California, confirms that meditation helps preserve the aging brain. They found that long-time meditators had better preserved brains than non-meditators as they aged. Meditators are found to have more gray matter volume when the age of the brain is preserved from aging by meditation. Aging of the body is also naturally preserved simultaneously. One of the most interesting studies in the last few years, carried out in Yale University, found that mindfulness meditation decreases activity in the default mode network, that is DMN, the brain responsible for mind wandering and self-referential thoughts, monkey mind as defined by Valala in many places in his songs. In 2011, Sarah Laser and her team at Harvard University found that mindfulness meditation can actually change the structure of the brain. They have found that meditation was found to increase cortical thickness in the hippocampus, which governs the learning and memory, and also found that there were decreases in the brain cell volume in the amygdala, which is responsible for fear, anxiety, and stress. It has been confirmed by various researchers that meditation improves concentration and attention. Just as we remove the moss on water, which prevents sunbeam from penetrating into water, we need to remove the blackish green veil which covers our soul from the compassionate beams of Lord, and this is possible only through extreme heat of devotion and meditation. Rays of sun is prevalent everywhere, but when the same is focused through a lens, its energy increases in multifold and even burns a piece of paper when it is brought under this lens. The same way, biomagnetic energy increases when we focus on the center of the eyebrows. Meditating at the center of the eyebrow is often referred as light of Trinity. Right eye is the sun, male part, hot spot. Left eye is moon, female part, cold spot. And the center of the forehead, which represents the space in our body, is a divine fire spot, that is Agni. Polar says that there are 13 focal points and energy centers in our body. To attain the immortality, one has to experience all the 13 centers of the body. And this is possible only by meditation in the whole and the above Trinity spots. In Tamil language, there are 13 vowel letters In Tamil, they are aptly named as a life letters to represent these 13 energy spots in our body. Most astonishingly, the name of the 13th letter in Tamil is called tool letter, that is Ayudha Eluthu, to specify that this letter is a tool to unearth the secrecy of meditation. This letter is written as two small zeros at the bottom and one zero over them. Two bottom zeros represent the right and left eyes, and the top zero represents the forehead center. During meditation, we need to direct both the right and left eyes towards the forehead center, which is the third eye in Siddha tradition. This is an important step for a true seeker to move towards the immortality. What is the aim of a human life? Transforming our present impure body into an immortal body is the very purpose of this human birth. Besides taking care of the aspects discussed so far, Vallalar says there are two means of achieving it, namely help rendered through one's body, mind, word, and wealth, or at least praying to God to relieve the sufferings of the beings. That is called parabhakara. And secondly, continuous inquiry into the greatness of the Lord and pettiness of our small selves, and place all our pettiness to his feet, which is called Satvichara. Only through this method can the bone of the immortal body be attained. 4 disciplines are to be followed to progress in the path of Sanmarkam, and they are the discipline of number 1, the gross faculties, that is Indriya Vazhakam. Number 2, the subtle faculties, that is Karna Vazhakam. Number 3, the individual soul or lower self, which is Jiva Vazhakam. And the discipline of universal soul or higher soul, that is Atma Vazhakam. Vallalar adequately explains these disciplines in Thiruvarutpad. Now I am going to summarize the points which are covered so far in a nutshell. We have been discussing so far that human body decays slowly due to disease, aging, and finally death. Vallalar affirms that human body is not designed for this unnatural fate, which we are all undergoing due to our ignorance and negligence. Vallalar has clearly demonstrated with his own physical body that this aging process is reversible biologically by focusing on our aspects which cause damage to the human body. Key features on alleviating diseases and aging have been discussed. Also, the 4 disciplines and 2 means to attain the immortal body have been discussed. A note on evidences from the scientific researches going on world over and Vallalar's vision and mission have been briefed. Now the level playing field is wide open to those who desire to drill down into Vallalar's process of transforming this impure body into an immortal body with the support of scientific facts. Subject of anti-aging or longevity is a prelude to the ultimate body of immortality, as demonstrated by Saint Vallalar, which the world has hardly witnessed before his life mission. Long live the human body. Peace be to all living beings. Aritperum Jodi, Aritperum Jodi, Aritperum Karuni, Aritperum Jodi. Thank you very much.
Over to MC.
Thank you, Mr. Muthujuthi Ayya, for an enlightening speech on Long Live Human Body. Your insights into Vallalar's mission and vision on attaining immortality in this birth itself is fascinating. You have clearly explained the 4 attributes that causes damages to human body and the effects of food intakes on life expectancy. You made us realize that aging is a reversible process. The benefits of meditation must also evidently defined. With all the scientific evidences and facts, you have just made us astounded. Once again, thank you for a stimulating speech, Mr. Muttajodi Ayya. So moving right along for next 15 minutes, let's watch a video to understand how compassion shown towards others comes back to us and in the same way. Thank you.
To all the viewers, now we are going for a short refresh break just to get some energy.
அட்டாக் பண்ணீங்களாடா நிறுத்து. சரி
So many things I see that I would like to remedy and save the world from this insanity. And if we all could shift our focus on the positive, we'd know the answer is to live and let live. Life's a puzzle incomplete, and everybody is a piece. Through empathy and human kindness, we'd be the change we wish to see. This is our world, and the revolution has begun. With open hearts we can see ourselves in everyone. Come and join us in a revolution of love. Let's congregate instead of spreading hate and raise the frequencies of love and start to pave the way for all the violence to cease. We must agree to disagree, to grow beyond power and greed. With selflessness we'll plant the